Hi there, Steve Stine here again, and I would like to further your study on some rhythm ideas by talking to you about dynamics, okay? Up to this point with our different rhythm things that we've been doing, we've been talking about, quarter notes and eighth notes, or down strumming and up strumming, missing a down here, missing an up here, creating different patterns, which is great, and you need to learn how to do that. It's very important. The next step is, once you've developed some of those things, what you want to do is you want to start trying to utilize what we refer to as dynamics. For instance, like if you know what accenting is, to accent something or make certain things sound louder or softer than other things, okay? We can create dynamics by, for instance, strumming a lot and then all of a sudden we strum just a little bit, or strumming really hard and then strumming really soft. There's lots of different ways that we can do this. So what I want to do is I want to take a chord progression, I want to play it for you right now, and then I want to talk a little bit about what I was doing to try and create some sort of environment or attitude when I was playing the song. So I'm just going to play G, D, C. I'm just kind of sticking with G, key of G here. So I'm using G, D, and C. Okay? So here's my song. See how it's kind of going in and out? The dynamic of my playing, the accenting, it's kind of moving in and moving out, moving in and moving out. And I really like to use thicker guitar picks for that, because then when I really want to get in there, I can strike those strings really hard and it sounds really loud, and then I can back off. A lot of times when people use guitar picks, for instance, if you use a thinner pick, it doesn't matter. You can use whatever you want. But what I found is thinner picks, when you really want to get in and strum those strings, they just bend, so you don't really get a lot of volume off of them. Medium picks, again, whatever's comfortable for you. The heavier the pick, the more I can get in there, but you also have to understand that with a heavier pick, I have to be available to make things sound quieter by the way I'm strumming. For instance, if you use a thinner pick, you could kind of beat the heck out of those strings, and it's still going to sound fairly quiet. With a heavier pick, you have to learn to back off. Otherwise, everything's just going to be overbearing when you strum. You know what I mean? You got to learn to back off. See what I mean? So here's kind of the progression we've taken. We've talked about how to begin strumming and how we can miss certain things to create either an actual strumming pattern, or we're improvising. We're just creating strums by moving our hand away and moving it back in. Maybe we hear something and we replicate that with our hand, or maybe we're just moving to the groove of the song and we're just kind of missing things and hitting it. From there, what we do is we start learning how to create dynamics by hitting the strings softer or louder, or hitting the strings more or less. And to me, that really is the essence of learning how to play music, is what we're talking about right now. Because the rest of it is kind of like exercises. You're learning how to put point A to point B together and that whole thing. And we need to. We can't play without it. But this is the part that I think really sells when you play for other people. It's the thing that people realize. I worked in a music store for many, many years, and one thing that I always thought was really cool was when somebody would come in, it doesn't matter what instrument they would play, whether it's piano or guitar or trumpet for that matter, it doesn't make any difference what the instrument was. But sometimes when they'd go to play, you would just stop and you just want to listen. You don't want to be bothered, and you just want to absorb what they're doing. It sounded so cool. And that, to me, is what feel is all about. That's what we're talking about right now, is that dynamic. When somebody just comes in and plays G, C, D, and they're just hammering on their strumming, it sounds like you're playing an exercise. When in reality, I suppose everything that we do is an exercise. It's just, as we get better, we don't think of it that way. But when you start dealing with dynamics when you're playing, it begins to sound more organic and more real to people, and they tend to want to listen to you play a little bit more. So that's what I want you to focus on, is take the next step and start working with this dynamic action of playing, and let me know if I can help you anyway.